The Morning Drive is sponsored by Power Metallic. To find out more about the company, please visit their website at powermetallic.com. Follow the Money Investor Group is a 100% Indigenous-owned company and certified with the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business.
David, nice to meet you.
Likewise, great to be here.
White Gold Corp. I've been trying to get you in the passenger seat for years now. Finally landed the interview.
Yeah, glad it worked out. I know we chatted a few times, and for whatever reasons we didn't, but here we are now. So
Sure.
It's perfect timing, actually.
Market's great. Where are you from?
I'm based in Toronto. Born there, grew up there, lived a couple other places over the years for different reasons, but I've been back for a long time.
Yeah. I feel like I'm doing a hockey interview right now. Did you play hockey?
I played a little bit. I was actually more of a football player growing up. I played a little bit in high school, college. I was actually drafted by the Stampeders.
Okay.
But I chose to go play this little semi-pro league in Europe for a while, which was a little more fun. I saw myself with maybe a better career on the finance side than on the gridiron. So that's the route I took.
How old are you?
48.
48, okay. Yeah, I know someone who played in the CFL, but you're older than him.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, because I always ask executives if they're competitive, so I already know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's you know what, I see it now with like a lot of the friends and the kids playing the sports and everything. It gives you a really good foundation, I think, for just everything in life, like teamwork, strategy, work ethic, and I highly recommend it. It's definitely benefited me.
So you have kids?
I do. I got a couple. Yeah, pretty fortunate. Good little guys. Lots of fun.
How old are they?
They're twins. They're 12. Just turned 12. So It's amazing how fast they grow up. But,
so what sports did you get them in, and how old?
Yeah, they're starting. My daughter's a big synchronized swimmer, so that's
cool.
A little bit different. But she loves it. It's a great sport, and as long as they're happy and it's good for them, and she's pulling me out of bed at 5:30 for practice, and then I'm happy to take her. So that's good. And my son's a baseball nut, so we just went through that whole World Series.
Oh yeah!
Wow, that was something.
Were you with him for Game 7? Or were you here?
I was. Yeah, he watches every game with almost the same amount of intensity. That's the crazy thing. But
that's awesome.
That was something else. It's I think all of us. I don't know. I'm not over it yet, but it was pretty emotional.
Yeah. Well, I was here actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was at this place called Manning's, and a bunch of it must have been like a couple flights landed a few hours before that because all the mining people were coming in.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm a baseball guy.
Oh, okay.
Played my whole
life.
life.
There you go.
And I feel like from just a pure baseball fan, it was like epic World Series, a nice run. But they got to keep that core together, man. There's a lot of character there.
It's wild. So I never, followed baseball too closely until a few years ago. My son got into it, and now he's like I said, a fanatic. So he watches literally every game.
Yeah. And
so I've watched a lot of games now with him, and I've really come to appreciate the sport. Like I didn't just realize, the strategy, and it's a team sport, but it's it's like all these individual 1v1 pitcher and batter.
Sure. You're like living and breathing with every pitch.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's right. Yeah.
You know what a slider is? It's like I'm going to backdoor the guy now. Interesting with your daughter, she's in synchronized swimming, because my daughter, she's 5 and loves to swim. Yeah. And I've actually thought, I'm like, I wonder if I should get her into synchronized swimming, which is kind of an odd thought. So I'm genuinely interested in how that happened.
Sure. It was very random, to be honest. We tried her in all the different sports, soccer and tennis, and nothing seemed to stick. And one day at the pool, they had a little, try this, and she tried it and immediately fell in love. So
wow, that's super cool.
It's a tough sport.
Yeah,
it's basically gymnastics underwater, right? It's no rest, no nothing.
So when they're training, do they train gymnastics?
They do everything.
Yeah,
they're in the water, swimming, weights. It's scarily for us. It's a lot more of a physically dangerous sport than you think. Like concussions,
All
you know,
because of knees and
they
everything.
hit each
right?
other, they kick each other,
Yeah.
and it's evolved now. It's like they throw these girls up in the air out of the water, and they land on each other. It's just, I've seen more concussions there than I did on the football field when I played. It's sad and scary, so you gotta be careful.
Okay.
Like everything else, but no, it's a lot of fun.
Well, we covered the kids. We covered where you're from.
That's good. I thought your daughter would be here. I've seen her in the past.
Yeah.
I would like to meet her. It's maybe in Toronto. We'll catch up.
Yeah, it'd be
For
cool.
a play date.
I mean, I think it's great having her in the back. It's pretty organic, and then she can learn as she gets older,
Yeah,
man.
that's it.
She can travel with me.
Get her to ask some questions. Kids, right? No filter.
That's right. All right, I'm going to take your advice on that. Okay, let's get into your professional career. I mean, you went from football to mining.
Yeah. So.
Tell me about it.
I'm a CPA by background.
Okay.
So that's where I spent most of my focus. And so after graduating, I spent 10 years at Deloitte to focus on international tax. It's a cool place to be. You're building a lot of value. Everyone likes guys that help them try and save on taxes.
Sure.
But at the same time, I was friends and close with the guy, Pat Capital. So he's the founder of Power One Capital. It's a merchant bank based in Toronto. Been around over 20 years now, and it's theoretically sector diversified, but they've been big mining investors and financiers from the get-go, and that's where they, I think, really made a great name for themselves. So as I was practicing at the big four accounting firms, I stayed close with him. I liked what they did. They were incredibly successful, and I was just slowly try to get more and more involved over the years, and started with a few board positions and kind of helped out as a CFO on a couple of files here and there, and eventually he got so big and he said, Dave, I could really use some help. What do you think about coming to join me? And so that was in 2009. I made the jump, and the rest is history. So just some more context on that, which is I think relevant to White Gold and other companies we're involved with. He's got a really unique model that's allowed for a lot of the success to happen. Obviously, you need to have the goods in the ground, but there's so much else that's involved with creating a company and bringing a company to market and supporting a company through good times and bad times that will really contribute to the eventual success or degree of success going forward. And he's built a model, and he's built a way of kind of critiquing these different opportunities from a risk perspective and knowing who to work with, I think, which is almost as or more important than sometimes the projects themselves. And
yeah.
And you live, you learn, you make mistakes, you get burned unfortunately here and there, but over time we've been able to get better and better, and it's put us in this really good position now, where we're able to work with the people that we like to work with. One nice thing about the mining sector is, unlike say tech or other things, your knowledge base stays very relevant, and it's a very cyclical business. So that information is proprietary to know where the assets are, who the experts are, have the relationships with the majors, and you're able to mobilize and make value from that at the right times. So that's important. As different cycles come up and different metals become sort of economic again, you know where to go. And the other important thing that we've learned over the years is when you have a good project, like they're rare, right? The fact to just go and discover things, I read somewhere in an Accenture report a few months ago, the odds of finding like a decent sized gold deposit you can bring to an economic study is like 1 in 1,000. So if you have one of those and it's not the right time, it's unfortunate a lot of people can't hold on to them, but we've been in a position that it's our private capital, and we are. So you got to hang on, do your best to preserve the capital structure, and wait for the right times.
Where you can leverage the market.
Exactly. And so over the years, as you grow and you have better capacity to do that, we've been able to do that more and more, buying these projects when they're out of favor, and then waiting for the time to come back. And I guess the one good thing about getting older is you can have more confidence in the cyclicality of nature of the business, that it's going to come back at some point in time. It doesn't always come as fast as you'd like, but it does, and we've been able to really benefit from that over the years.
Let's talk about the cap structure a little bit. Want to run
On White
through
Gold, yeah. So this is White Gold's a project we put together. Like it's actually the great example of this. So it's 9 years we've been in White Gold. So it started with Shawn Ryan. He is this brilliant prospector, born in Timmins, in a mining family, but he just wanted to get out there and just find his own big gold deposits, and he sort of thought about all of Canada and where he look. And Timmins, a lot of work's been done. Quebec's a lot of work's been done. Other places in Ontario, and what he focused on, what really captured his imagination, was the Klondike district of the Yukon. this was the epicenter of the notorious gold rush, which started 125 years ago. You know, you've all seen the pictures and the movies.
Yeah.
And to this day, it is still an incredibly active placer mining camp. There's been over 20 million ounces of gold literally found in the creek beds. But nobody had gone there to perform real modern exploration. And so he's like, okay, there's 20 million ounces sitting in the creeks. That didn't come from the sky. I want to go figure out like where it came from, and if there's that much in the creeks, there's got to be more in the ground. So he went there. This is like 2000. This is kind of the early, maybe 2004, 2005. And what he first found out very quickly was why no one's there. And not because like some places it's remote, it's dangerous, it's, you know, in the middle of Africa or wherever. It was a very, what's now in hindsight a simple technical issue. That area of the Yukon was never glaciated. So most places in Canada where it's been glaciated, so that basically means the glaciers, when they came through, they scraped away all the topsoil, so you see the rock, right? Like in Toronto, you go up to Cottage Country, you see the granite, and they take their sample with that, they bring that to the lab. But with no outcrop, they can't use that technique. So he had to go and do tons of research to figure out what other techniques may be applicable to that type of area. He honed in on soil geochemistry. And it's not just like you're looking for gold in the soil or copper or whatever, it's these pathfinder elements that act as indicators to what might lie beneath. So it took him like 5 years to really hone in that approach. But when he got it, it's like he cracked the code. And he was like immediately extremely successful, discovering millions and millions of hard rock ounces, one of which is the Coffee Project, which was owned by Kaminak, that Gold Corp bought for $500 million. And now that's been taken over through Newmont, and now Newmont and Agnico and Trinity and Pierre Lassonde are just partnered to acquire that and move it to production. And then basically everything else in the district, Shawn used that same technique to tie it up. So he performed the largest soil geochemical study like on the planet. He covered an area of about 120 kilometers by 60 kilometers. And from that, he cherry-picked the best projects, and that's what he used to create White Gold. And so he came to us in Toronto with this opportunity, and we were blown away. It's like, you know, the opportunity to have a camp, what could be a camp, in this prospective area of the Yukon with so much history and so little work, but the work that's been done has been so successful, was like a dream for us, right? And so we partnered with him, and then, you know, that's where we kicked off. And you asked about the cap table. So it's Shawn, ourselves, and the other significant shareholder, which I think really validates like how unique this opportunity is. Agnico, the largest mining company, gold mining company in Canada, and what they like really saw, which is effectively what made us so excited, is what we have is not the opportunity to discover a mine. We have the opportunity to own an entire camp. So this is like going back in time and being able to acquire like such a huge land position, which is 300,000 hectares. That's like 700,000 acres in a prime place. So being able to go do that in Timmins or in the Abitibi or Val-d'Or 100 years ago, right? And like, what would that be worth today?
Right.
And that's literally what we think we have.
So when was the big breakthrough? Because I know, you know what, I don't know Shawn, but I've heard his name, so he's obviously a rock star in the community.
Yeah, when he first came onto the scene, it was gangbusters. He actually got interviewed. He's on the cover of New York Times Magazine twice. Like it was very, very newsworthy. So basically, you know, it's been exceptional what we've been able to do so far. So today, like where have we gone? We now have a 3 million ounce deposit, all open pit. It's the highest grade deposit in all of the Yukon. We just hired a new VP of exploration, which was a real godsend. His name's Dylan Langell. So he was part of Great Bear Resources. I'm sure that's a name you're likely familiar with.
Yeah.
He was there from day one with that discovery team, and spent 5 years at Great Bear, and then his last 2 years at Kinross after they acquired Great Bear for $1.8 billion, and took that from a discovery to a 7 million ounce plus resource.
Okay.
And you know, so now that's going into production. He's like, you know, my sort of, you know, what I'd love to do is exploration. So he's looking for a new project. Fortunately, we had some friends in common. He learned about the White Gold opportunity, and he chose to come over. You know, not to put words in his mouth, but what he says is like, this was the ideal situation where the company already had success. He saw a significant opportunity to continue to increase that deposit, like, you know, he's done at Great Bear. where he, went from one rig to eventually operating 13 different rigs, towards the end as they were, bulking it up for production. But what he also really liked was what I mentioned before, is that we have this enormous land position. It's so prospective. It's not just like, we went and, grabbed, a bunch of moose pasture. Every property we have has gone through that same protocol what Shawn Ryan has used to make all of his discoveries in the area.
So they're Shawn Ryan vetted, essentially.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, so...
And Shawn's still our partner, and he still leads our technical thing. Like, he's very involved. Like, it's crazy. And what you see now, the Yukon, it's like you looked over in Canada, right? Maybe because there was so much work, and success in Ontario and Quebec and other BC, that it just did not have the exploration expenditures done in the last 20 years. So that's, even Dylan said, we're about 20 years behind. So, from our perspective, like, here we are today, it took us 9 years to get here, but we are now holding probably the largest land package in all of Canada in what looks to be one of the most prospective places in all of Canada, at a time where the market's finally woken up and said, you know what, there's been so little exploration in the last decade. Like, all these gold companies are going to need these new projects.
They need ounces.
And we have an amazing start, 3 million ounces at the highest grade in the entire Yukon. And when you talk to Dylan, he'll get into it in a little more detail. But what's so special about it is the core of the deposit. It's actually 1 million ounces at 3 grams per ton, which within that is 700,000 ounces at almost 5 grams per ton. So those are wild grades that you have in the open pit. And what Dylan's seen when he came to join us is that he's refocused our program to spend more time looking there, because you're going to get your best bang for your buck. This is all open, and to be able to grow a resource with that kind of tenor is almost too good to be true. So it's really, really exciting.
How much of this company do you own?
I own probably 3% of the company. So it's build it up over the years, and I've been and I'm happy I keep buying and buying as much as I can.
Okay.
It's when I'm not blacked out, because listen, at the end of the day, I said, we're investors first. I really do see this as one of the best risk reward opportunities of anything that I'm aware of out there. So happy to own as much as I can.
How many shares are outstanding, fully diluted?
So there's 220 million shares outstanding, and then there's some management options, about I think 15 million, and then some warrants from the last financing we did. So I would say maybe 240-ish fully diluted.
Any strategic investors in?
Well, there's Agnico, I mentioned.
Yeah.
Eric Sprott's a shareholder. A few funds out of in the resource sector, but that's an interesting point. So a company with the type of project we have, with the people involved, where we are, you'd think you'll be more widely owned by your typical natural resource investment group on the institutional side, but it's really not yet. And part of the reason, it's been a quiet project up until recently, because it's been a tough junior mining market, as everyone knows, but we were very keen to continue to advance these projects. We saw what we had, so we wanted to every year make sure we can continue to demonstrate the prospectivity of our big land package and continue to grow our resources. Now, when we were looking to grow our resources, what we were doing historically, as opposed to looking at the main zone, which we knew was phenomenal and would continue to grow, we were looking for new discoveries in a close proximity. So we've identified these 2 very big trends. One's 6 kilometers, just like 1.5 kilometers west of the main project, and one's about 10 kilometers north of there. And so we identify the targets, we come back and drill it the next year. If we had drill success, we come back with a bigger program the following year. And if that was successful, we'd slap a small resource on it with the theory that we'll come back to it, and we'd leave it and we'd go to the next one, and then we do it again to the next one. So we now have 4 different deposits we've discovered. We got about at least a dozen more targets that look exactly the same, which we think are going to have a really strong opportunity to continue to grow. But what Dylan has sort of done now that he's joined us, he looked at it and said, okay, that's a great approach. But we let's kind of refocus. Sorry, where I was going with that was, we wanted to make sure we were doing the work, but that didn't take a lot of money. We were very we're shareholders first, so we're very sensitive to dilution. So we did not want to have these big financings with warrants and everything. Like until this year, this is the first time we actually put a warrant on a financing, just because we just completed a $23 million private placement, which was broker led. So with these small financings between us and Agnico, we basically did it all. So the street, really wasn't involved. So we had no institutional coverage, no institutional marketing. It was basically just our core group that would be financing it every year. Now, with a market that's awake, with the size, the type of project we have, with the size, the grade, the quality, the location, this is something we believe would resonate really well with the institutional community. So on our, in conjunction with obviously the fact that there's a good gold market here and there's more and more interest, that's why we decided in this last financing to really engage the street here. So we worked with 4 great brokers out of Toronto, and they put together this $23 million program, which is going to now allow us for the first time to put a real sizable program on this project, and I think really take it to the next level.
So it's kind of been a transformation now.
Yeah, the last 9 months has been a complete transformation for the company. It's like it was always there, it's just nobody was aware of it. And even when we were in Beaver Creek, that's where kind of like the light bulb really went off. Like the 3 big things were like, okay, A, it's a better market people are carrying. B, the Yukon is like really on vogue again. Like
well, there was a Victoria.
Exactly. So not only was it like sleepy, Victoria happened, and it put this big black cloud over the thing for a year. So you
were like, let's lay low.
Let's lay low. No one cared. So the Yukon as a whole, basically, it is a year behind, I think, this gold cycle, because people were just kind of staying away. A few things have changed. Number one is probably most significant is, companies like Snowline having these sensational discoveries. That's going to generate a lot of interest. Other companies up there like Sitka and Banyan continue to have success. So people are like, oh yeah, let's not forget, this is probably the most prospective place in Canada. Then the reports came out about what happened at Victoria Gold. I think that gave people a lot more comfort. Mm-hmm. It also forced the government's hand to say, no, we are very pro-mining here.
Yeah.
So
it was a good test.
Yeah, and then, but what I realized at the conference was, so like nobody was aware of what happened at White Gold, or it just fallen off their radar. And so you're sitting in these meetings with analysts, with these sophisticated institutions. They're like, wait, you guys have a 3 million ounce deposit?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Wait,
and
it's the
highest grade?
Wow, I didn't know that. With all this upside, wow. And you got this new VP of X from Great Bear, and then he tells the story of where he sees the growth potential, and he identifies this extremely high grade core, and said so he's repositioned the program to focus more on that. And that is where we're working now. And then I think that the institutional investment community says, wow, if you have the opportunity to be growing like a 3 to 5 gram deposit in open pits in Canada, that's something to be excited. With the addition of the coffee project next door getting acquired, which is now fully permitted, so they know stuff can happen. Newmont comes in, Agnico comes in, Pierre Lassonde comes in to build it. Agnico is our partner. You see B2 investing in it. Like, so it's this confluence of everything happening at the right time.
It's just everybody's discovering it.
Exactly. So it's one of those like typical like overnight successes, 10 years in the making. But what's really great is for the first time we're actually going to be able to put a big program on this. And this thing's only seen 60,000 meters of drilling in the last 10 years. Where, as a comparison, the coffee project, which is like, again, one of the highest grade open pit heap leachers beside us, it's seen 600,000 meters, and we're about the same size. So people are really, now that they're looking at the area, they're like, this is truly like a hidden gem. And I am like, I could not be more excited for what we're going for. Like just this morning, you may have not seen it, we put out our first drill hole from the program this year, and we had 50 meters of 6.9 grams per ton in an open pit. Like that's like wild stuff in Canada.
So you're going to be getting a lot of attention. You've already got a lot of attention. Yeah. You got a lot more attention coming.
Well, I'm trying. Like this is like we historically have not done a lot of stuff like this. We have a really good story to tell at the right time.
Yeah.
And now, for the first time, trying to make sure we kind of get the story out there.
Well, I'm really happy that you came on.
Yeah.
And I look forward to the X space with your Geo.
Yeah.
Or Geos, and you're more than welcome to come on there as well with X. I'd like the audience to know right now, please go in the description. We'll put the X link and the date that you can add to your calendar.
Yeah.
And X is great. You can have like 8 people on at once. So if you want to cover corporate stuff and they cover that, or if you don't want to be on, that's cool.
No, that would be cool. Like, there's actually so much more to talk about. When you own one of the largest land packages in Canada, it's hard to cover it in 10 or 15 minutes.
Exactly.
But like, there's other new discoveries. We have this wild critical minerals portfolio, which we've discovered, and we're actually going to be spitting that out to shareholders just to keep the company set. So that's a bonus people can look forward to, and lots more exploration results. And I think it's going to all be really capped off early next year when we launch our PEA. And I think that's when the world's really going to realize the benefit of having this high, exactly. And then and that's going to show how much I think this will stand out on a global scale.
Well, we're both in the Toronto area. I'm sure this won't be the last time. I've been trying so hard with Jerry to get you in here.
Okay.
Now you're here. Now the story's, in front of everybody, and I'm excited to hopefully.
Well, things sort of always happen for a reason, and we're meeting today at the right time, and look forward to it. I couldn't be more excited.
All right. Thanks for
Great
joining.
chatting. Take care.